All right, let's go and welcome everyone to the It's Only for Fun podcast, or whatever we should call this thing, with me, David, or Bone, and 223 that I nick on Expert 11, and with Daniel, or Daniel.g. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's good. That's good. Great to hear. Great to hear it. As many of you might hear and pick up instantly, we are not really English speakers. Both me and Daniel are from Sweden. I know it's always bad to start a recording with apologizing on beforehand, but we're gonna do that either way. We are a bit rusty with this, right? So all you in the English community have to bear with us as we butcher our way through this recording. Usually we do this in Swedish, right, Daniel? So we're more,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And we are like, veterans of 7 podcast recordings ourselves in Swedish up until this time. So this will be a challenge and a new experience for us as well, which feels really good. I hope you will enjoy this English special. And we'll also try to do those kind of English specials with guests in the future as well, for all of you out there. And speaking of guests, we have our first English-speaking guest today, which is a great joy for us. Right now, he sits at number 3 on the world ranking. He was number 2 up until yesterday, and he's a 2-time manager of the week. I'll try to do this, not butcher this too bad. Right. He has won the Golden League, the Expert League twice, the Expert League Cup, Dream League Cup. He's been manager of the season 3 times, and most of you guys perhaps already know who I'm talking about, right? The top English manager right now, Blob, or Robert. Welcome to the show, Robert.
Thank you. Hello. Nice to be
Hello.
here.
It's great to have you. Great to have you, and great that you dared to join us for this daring experiment, right? So, first and foremost, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. Really good.
Nice, nice. Everything good in these strange pandemic times with you?
Yeah. I think our family's lucky not to have caught it yet. So we're
Oh
good.
yeah, really? Oh, that's nice to hear. That's really good to hear. How are things? You're from Norfolk in southeastern England. Is it a bad situation there, all in all, or is it a rather good situation compared to at least the rest of England, so to speak?
I think Norfolk's got off quite lightly compared to the rest of England. It's obviously it is here as well, but it's just not been as bad up so far. I think it's because there's quite a lot of fields and also it's not maybe not that, but it's maybe not so tightly packed, not so many cities. There's only like Norwich, there's a big city here. And there's
Yeah.
quite a lot of villages, so maybe it's not getting around so easily.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Are you a Norwich fan, by the way, in terms of
Yeah,
football? You
yeah,
are,
I'm a
yeah.
Norwich fan.
That's great. Then you know who Teemu Pukki is as well, I suppose,
Yeah.
right? And it's great to have at least one Finnish good football player in the English league system. I would say, right? So,
Yeah.
do you have any favorite player on the team, or is it the Finnish striker who are your favorite?
Yeah, probably Pookie.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. He's my favorite player in England as of now as well too. So it's great to hear. Great to hear that. Not at all partial in that way, or how do you say? Well, yeah, my grandparents on my dad's side are from Finland, so that's why I enjoy Finnish strikers the most, I would say. So, and you, Daniel, who are your favorite player in the English league system in Premier League?
I guess I gotta say Ronaldo something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a United supporter, a Manchester United supporter, maybe you have to say. So having him back, it's for how shit United have been, and he's like the best player in the world. So yeah, I think that's my favorite player right now. That's the only one in United that makes me somewhat excited to watch football at this moment. Pretty much.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, he's a good player. You can't argue with that, right? So,
No.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Pretty
I would
boring
say
name, but I don't know.
perhaps slightly better than Timo Pukki if you look at his overall play. Maybe I might give him that. At least his overall career, I could give him that courtesy of being better than
Slightly.
the Finland's best football player. So yeah, sure thing. But speaking of football, and perhaps moving on a bit to Expert 11, and going on to actually the sort of interview part of this, right, Blob? Or Robert? Robert or Blob? Blob or Robert? It's going to be, I'm going to throw both things at you during this interview, so just
Okay.
bear with me, like I
Sure.
said before, right? Why do you play Expert 11? Because you're still a veteran of this game since 2007, am I right? I think it was
Yes.
that you, yeah,
I think it
sure.
was.
Do you remember how you found this sort of manager game, and why do you like manager games?
Yeah, one of my good friends who I knew from high school and primary school invited a bunch of his mates to come and play it. That's the first time I heard of it. So we all joined the same like private league, and since then I've stayed on. I think he's since left the game, but we still got the same league is still going, so we're still enjoying that in his absence. And I still enjoy the game, so yeah, I'll come and playing it. So I think I'll still be here for a while longer.
That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. I guess you sort of have to enjoy parts of it, right, in order to be able to stay on for so many consecutive years, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to actually, in your own opinion, become good at it? So if you catch my, being that you actually have been number one in the world and all
Yeah.
also, which I forgot to mention in your achievements list at the beginning, right?
I
Sneak
think
it in there.
I've always been quite good at it.
Yeah.
I just haven't. You have to build your team up, don't you? First, though, I guess. So I've done quite well I've done really well in the private league that my friend managed. I've won that slightly more times than the next most one. That's a very fun league. Yeah, my first team was in the Golden League, and that I built that from scratch as well. The team I first joined. And I finally, at this peak, I managed to get it into the win the league and get to the Champions League for one season. But after that, the team was too old, so I left it for new pastures.
Yeah.
Ever since that, I've been trying to stay at top clubs because
sure.
I just don't have the heart to build up again. I'm not sure if I could go like through the whole building process again, like getting bored. Once you've tasted like the top leagues, you kind of want to stay there, I think.
Yeah, it
fair
takes like
enough.
5 years to build a team as well. So
Yeah. I think
it's
if I had to start again, I might end up leaving the game instead. I think because it's just kind of heartbreaking to have to start for a whole 5 years again before you get anywhere.
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Me and David are both trying to do that, but I can understand why you would want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fine balance there, right? In terms of what you want in a certain way. I guess it must have been very very nice to do that journey once with Wonder Dogs that you have
Yeah.
had the first time, and you actually take your own team and you build it from scratch, and you go all the way and you finish at the top of the league, right? That there's always a special feeling with that kind of stuff in games, right?
Yeah.
In a
Definitely.
way, and it's
Yeah.
hard to replicate that, but also. I don't know what you guys think about when you look at top football in the actual world or in the real world, so to speak. You usually don't see the top managers stay at their clubs for their entire careers anyway, right?
Yeah.
No matter if
Yeah.
you look at Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho or whoever it is, they usually change. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just necessary. Only that in Expert 11 it's necessary because the rebuild would take 5 consecutive years to do, right? But yeah. But how do you remember how it felt when you actually managed to win the first league title there in Golden League, the 34th season?
But it felt really great. But I can't remember too much because that was probably about 10 years ago now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I haven't got that good a memory, I guess. But
yeah. Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah.
And but then you moved on to Saturday night FIFA. which later become Blast Legacy, right? Where do you find inspiration for your names, by the way? Both your nickname, as we spoke before recording, but where do you find your inspiration for your nickname and your team names? Does it have any background in real life, right?
Yeah, my nickname, Blob, is my real life nickname from when I was in primary school. My mates were trying to come up with a nickname for me one day, and they came up with Blob, I guess, because it rhymes with Robert or Rob.
Yeah.
And my team names, I've always liked to have funny team names or clever ones. So Saturday Night FIFA was meant to sound like Saturday Night Fever, the movie.
True.
But FIFA, because it's like Saturday, play football on a Saturday usually. Or a jokey name. And then obviously I changed it to Bla's Legacy because I felt bad that Bla had to leave his team. And then he was off against his will. He was away for a while, I think. So I thought I'd put his name in the title there to remember his legacy of him building that great team.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, recently I've stopped renaming the teams. I've just kept the ones I've joined recently. Last two, I kept Baltimore Ravens. I kept the team name for that one, and so far the North Members too. So I've kept the North Members name as well.
Oh yeah, sure. So you are not a Game of Thrones fan, though?
I haven't seen it. I think I saw part of one episode, but I haven't actually seen much of it. But I think when it first came out, I didn't realize it had like dragons and stuff in it. I thought it was just, I just thought it was some like kings and queens thing. I thought it didn't sound very interesting, so I didn't watch it. But now, of course, I've regretted missing it all.
My goodness, you realize you just instantly erased half my questions for now. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, North Remember is great. I'm just going to ask you what about last season? Oh shit, no. I'm just kidding. There are other questions too, right? So, and Daniel, we are also, I think, we have been sort of we've tried not to repeat stuff in our former podcast recordings that we've already said like 5 times during the first 7 recordings, right? So, but now this is the first time in English, actually. So I can actually ask you, have you seen Game of Thrones, Daniel? Do you enjoy that show?
I have. I really did enjoy it until the last season, like pretty much everyone else. They just ruined the show with the last season. So, but I like it. I can recommend it if you don't want to. If you don't want to see how it ends, it's a really great show. So, if you're gonna watch it afterwards, do yourself a favor. Don't watch the last season because it's really crap. It's really crap.
Yeah, sure. And what do you have taken inspiration from your team name, Project Mayhem, Daniel? Where does that come from? For our listeners out there in the rest of the world who's not Sweden, right?
It's just it's the Project Mayhem from Fight Club, the movie Fight Club. That's the kind of how do you say it? It's the mission they have. Everything they do is part of Project Mayhem, and that's pretty much it. It's one of my favorite movies. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, very much sums it up, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen it, by the way, Robert? The Fight Club movie. It's a classic nowadays.
Yes, I did.
Did you enjoy it, or?
Yeah, I think so. It was many years ago, and I've only seen it once, but I did enjoy it. I think, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I would have to agree with you guys on that. It's a good film. It's a good movie. I've also only seen it. I'd only seen it once up until just recently, and I watched it the second time, and it was still a really enjoyable watch. So I can also recommend that one. Speaking of enjoyment and that kind of stuff, right? What do you enjoy most with Expert 11 as a game, right? Because you've been here like we already said since 2007, and I can also say me and Daniel, we started out early also on the site, and we both left after a couple of years for different reasons with friends and ending their accounts and stuff, and you just grew tired of the game, and then we've both come back because we sort of actually started to miss it really. Once playing a lot of different other manager games, it's still there's still something about this godforsaken slow game who is still very enjoyable to do also, right? But what do you enjoy most with it when you play?
I have tried a few other football management online games before, but I haven't stuck with any of them. This is the only one I've stuck with for a long time. I think also the fact that it's only once or twice a week is pretty good because you get a lot of free time to do other things. Some games are every day, which I didn't like. And also, some of my friends obviously still play, and I really like that league, so I just find it enjoyable and haven't got bored of it yet. So I do enjoy coming and playing every few times a week. I enjoy the competition, trying to win the Champions League, which I've never done yet.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna
Very
talk
tough.
about that also. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
do love the game still. Yeah.
That's great to hear. And on the absolutely in the top tier of the game, even though the game as such has lost quite a few members the last couple of years, which I didn't realize how big it had been actually when I rejoined it. So it was for me it was less of a shock that oh my god they lost so many members because it's still around this time. It looks the same like like when I left it, right? But in the absolutely top tier of the league system, I think the competition is still fierce. I would say in terms of yeah, for sure. So it's not like you just start from scratch and you know that I will be in the top division no matter what in the upcoming 2 years or so. But you really have to work for a place, and especially in the Champions League. So what you have done is extraordinarily impressive. I think with how many titles you've been able to win, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever been that good at team building myself, which is what I so a lot of the times I've jumped to a team who's become available for some reason. I think, well, that team is a lot better than my team, and my team's getting towards the end of its life, so I think I need to jump and let someone take over my old one. Because I think I'm really good management wise with the tactics, but I haven't been that good at building a great team myself. So I've kind of needed the help of other managers who have left to help me win things, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that is true for a lot of managers on the game. Really, there is a certain skill to that as well, and a lot of guys are very good at building teams, but they can't manage them basically, right? So even though the skill of the team is always going to dictate how well it goes, of course, that's still the primary thing. You still see a lot of teams stuck in like second division, third division with some really strong players, like for real. Like, oh my goodness, what are you doing down here? And they are just not going anywhere. So yeah. But speaking of yeah, sure, go down. Shoot.
In my opinion, building a great team seems to be mostly about economics. How much money you have when you start pretty much dictates how good your team will be, because just form training all the time. That's pretty much the key to building a great team. It's just training. And we've been talking to like Holst, number one right now, and Krille and stuff, and they all say like to build a great team you need money. That's pretty much the only thing they agree on. No, but you pretty much need just a great economy so you can train all the time. That's pretty much the secret to building a great team. Not completely, but it's the major part of building a great team is having a good economy, so you can just train, pretty much, so they never go down.
Precisely. We spoke with Plastic Man for a while also with Holst and those guys. It was also here on Discord. Maybe I should also bring that up. By the way, for the English listeners who haven't heard this, we have a Discord server who is the official Expert 11 Discord server also. So if you want to check that out, we will link this in the I guess this whole recording will be published also in the English part of Expert Daily as well. So I will make sure to link the Discord link there as well, right? If you want to join us for this kind of chats also when we're not recording, right? And there we spoke with the Plastic Man, and I think he said when you asked Daniel, well, how much money do you really need to build a good team? And he has built like the greatest team for the last 5 years in the official system. So he's like, oh well, at least 500 million. And you're like, oh my god, that's $500 million, really? Well, yeah. Otherwise, you would have a crap team. No, not that bad, right? But it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to build a great team, right? So they are of course right in that aspect, but
I mean, just look at Blue Red and his insane team.
I was going there also.
He had like 700 before he started. I'm not completely sure about that, but I heard he had 700 million before he started building that team, which is insane to be honest. The patience to just gather that much money. I mean, I don't know. I don't have that patience, I think.
There is a saying, I think, that patience is also a skill, and that goes. It's really true for this game, right? Have you had the opportunity to look at Blue Red's team, Robert, so to speak?
Yeah, I think I played against it recently in the Champions League.
I know.
Yeah,
god damn
That's
it.
really unfair result when you lost at home. It was right when he scored like a winner in the 94th or something.
Yeah.
That must have pissed you off, right?
Yeah, I don't watch the game, like the game. I always go straight to the result because I don't know. I think I just never really got into watching the game. I skipped the result and see it automatically, so I didn't really realize that they'd scored so late on until I scrolled down.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much pissed me off just watching it from
watching your result. Yeah.
Because I know I would have been really pissed because you won the tactical fight, didn't you? And
so.
and pretty much chances and everything, and he just scored a late winner.
Yeah,
that would be I would be so angry.
When you went into that game against, because you've been to the Champions League 4 times, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm not sure when you left the Wonder Dogs, if you actually went to the Champions League with them also the first time.
Yeah, I think I did. I stayed with them until I got knocked out. Then I looked to jump.
Yeah,
I thought you can't go before you leave the Champions League, really.
No, I thought so. It would seem sort of it would leave some questions to be asked if you left during the Champions League run the first time, right? So, but with that, so I think you've been to the Champions League 4 times, and you've been going through the group stages each and every single time of that, and you've been knocked out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
What was your approach when you realized that you were going to go up against Blue Red in the playoffs, and you know that it's even though it hasn't really peaked yet, which is also strange in a way when you're looking at the team, but what were your tactical approach to that game? What do you think as sort of an advice to also like new players and stuff? How do you think before going into that kind of matchup?
I always just do the same thing, I guess. Check the tactics, make sure I try and guess what the other person is going to think I'm going to do. So I work out what they're going to think, and I try and counteract that. So I always try to get into the head of the other manager to see what they're going to think, what they think I'm going to do because of what I've done recently, and then change it so I can try and counteract it. But I try to win every game. If it's a tough game, I'll try to win, even if it could mean going defensively or with a defensive formation, but still hoping to win the game with the tactics you've put out. So I never like to play for a draw or just take a loss. I always like to try and win every game, no matter who it's against. Sometimes there's the right tactic that can work for you.
Yeah, sure.
But I think in a big game, like that, you've got to go cautiously, because if you don't go cautious, especially if it's away from home against a massive team like that, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. We actually had Eve on, the creator of the game. We had on one of our former recordings. He joined us for an hour and a half speaking about some aspects of it. And one of the things that he actually sort of not revealed, because I think he's been speaking about it before also, but was just that kind of aspect that if you are too aggressive away from home, that really the gaming simulation is really trying to strive for some sort of even setup, right, between lineups and formations, and he's really trying to do the game as even as possible in order to get the. There shouldn't really on paper be any difference between a 4-2-4 or a 5-4-1 or a 4-5-1 or anything like that. But if you go attack away from home, that could really bite you if the home team also goes attacking, right? So offensive strategy. So.
How I play now, I don't usually go anything other than normal or cautious away from home. I think if I was massively overpowered, I would do defensive. I hardly ever do defensive or very defensive because I think they've been nerfed recently. But they don't make many chances apparently anymore. So I stick with cautious or normal away from home, unless I've got a massively stronger team, and then I would go offensive away. But I don't think very offensive is good in home or away because very offensive leaves you open to a lot of counter attacks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I would agree.
Even at home, I don't usually go offensive anymore. I usually stay with normal, unless I need to go cautious. It's usually just cautious and normal for me these days.
Yeah, sure.
I think because I've realised that careful away against offensive at home is strong. If someone goes cautious away against an offensive home team, the cautious one will probably win it if they're evenly matched, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The only time I would go offensive at home is pretty much if I need, like in a cup game, and I need the goals pretty much.
Yeah.
So I can't say I lost at home away by 2 or something. And I need to score 3 goals. Yeah, then I have to go offensive. But that's just otherwise normal is pretty much my go-to guy as well.
Yeah, I'll start doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And part of the reason why I ask you, by the way, about the how you think before games is that certain managers who have a tremendous amount of success also, right? There are guys who are basically sticking to their guns no matter what in terms of formation, or it's always my setup is the best setup for my team, and that's why I utilize that all the time over and over. But you seem to be more of the whole. It seems like you are really putting a lot of effort into the tactics of the opponent as well, right? Or at least that's what it looks like from the outside when looking at your games. So
for many years in probably at least 2 years ago and before that, I used to do 4-5-1 virtually every game for virtually every team I had. I was sticking to the 4-5-1 because I thought that's a strong formation. But then after the last couple of years have passed, last couple of years I've been changing formations a lot more because I realised that just doing 4-5-1 isn't going to win every game, especially with how the game is now. So I do change it up a lot more now. Although I did stick with 3-5-2 for quite a while, but then 3-5-2 doesn't win you away matches very easily. I think 3 defenders away from home is a bit dangerous, especially if it's against a good team. So yeah, I kind of change up now a lot more. I play for what I think will get me the win rather than just sticking with the same formation. I don't think it'll work for me, that formation.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sometimes you have to change it to be able to get a win from the match.
Yeah, sure. I really enjoyed looking at your last game in the Dream League top tier there when you met the Bounce Back Ability and Clubaholics Anonymous, right? And there is for the listeners out there, there's to read in the comments, right, that speaking of tactical battles, right, you said after it was a 1-1 game and you were the home team. And after the game, you wrote, "You prepared for my 0 times used formation, you cheeky monkey. Well played and a good game." And he was like, "Haha, yeah, you made me work hard for that one, right?" Well disguised, right? I love that sort of tactic. It really seems like you guys really have been looking through, your opponent, right, before going into the game at the very least. So that's a fun read, really.
He's a good manager with a great team. I wasn't surprised that he came straight up and won the league last season. I thought he'd have probably win it with how strong his team was. He's a good manager too. He knocked me out of the Champions League a couple of seasons ago, I think, as well.
He's a really strong manager, definitely. I think he's top 20. He's been top 5 in the world. I'm certain of. I think he's about 20th place right now the world ranking. And also for listeners, by the way, who might not have the same hysteria about following the official systems like me and Daniel has or have. Right now you are in the battle for first place in Dream League also, right? With the bounce back ability being 2 points ahead of you after 9 games. So do you think that you'll catch him? What do you believe going into the
I
end?
think they can, but I think it's going to be hard because he's hardly lost a game this season apart from the one against our team, and I don't think we're going to win every game left. I was expecting to get in the relegation battle this season because obviously my team's getting old, and I have to play a couple of youngsters at least every game. But I have noticed that Clubholics Anonymous are also playing a couple of youngsters a game, so I think that's given us a chance. So I think they're not too dissimilar from us when they play one youngster in each position as well. So I think we've still got a chance of doing it as long as we can win more games than they do against the rest of the teams. Yeah, but I'm expecting him to win more games than we do in the rest of the season. So I don't will win the league, but I'm hoping to give him a good battle.
Yeah, for sure, you should be able to.
Definitely go for it and try.
And you're still part of the cup also. Do you have any sort of? We already spoke about you're like me and Daniel, right, Daniel? That we are also really managers who don't want to throw a game, basically, even though you know it might be good for you in the long run. You don't want to. Well, I just put my third keeper into this cup game, just straight out lose, right? It's hard to do that. You always want to win each and every game, right? You're the same like me there, Daniel, also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate losing.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. But given that you, at the very least, are so close to the league title, do you have any second thoughts about trying to, take the easy route out of the cup in order to be able to focus on the league, or do you go all in for both titles, so to speak?
Yeah, I usually try and stay in all competitions as long as I can, because it'll help DV, especially with how old my team is. Like, they need an extra development value, and also if I don't win the league, there's still a chance I can qualify for the Champions League and the Cup again. So
That's true.
I always try in as many competitions as I can, even though it might hurt the form of the team, which it is at the minute because I've actually virtually run out of money again. I'm living off each week's money coming in on the sponsor at 2D and the press releases.
Yeah, I hate living like that way. It's so annoying when you can't just put the win bonuses and stuff, and it's quite stressful in the context of the game to not have money. I think I'm working on getting better at that myself because I'm known as the poor one always. I'm always the one who has the least money in the league, pretty much. So I'm trying to better myself.
That's usually me as well.
It's really annoying to be that guy. It makes it hard.
You should join us for our upcoming podcast as well, because we have been requested by KCNR2, the Swedish manager, to do an episode about the economics and what you need for succeeding. And we're like, oh my God, are we the right people to do that? Right. So
I'm not. You might be. I'm not.
You should join us for that one as well if you are, the Daniel of England, right? The poor one in England, right? Before leaving bounce back ability, I was just going to ask you: do you have any? Which coach is the one that you have had the most sort of tactical respect for, or is there anyone that you've been always almost nervous about meeting or battling with coach wise or managing wise in your career on Expert 11?
I think bounce back ability has been the one recently because we've played quite a few times and he's seemed to do really well against me each time. He's been the main one. I think my on the club stats it says last season or the season before, bounce back ability was my bogey team.
Oh yeah.
My nightmare opponent on the list there. He's beat me quite a lot before. I'm starting to improve, I think. Yeah. Also, the manager of Cincinnati, Master Shea, I always had good battles with him. He used to beat me every time until we got a bit stronger, and then he started to win a couple back.
Yeah,
I always had games as well.
including one cup final there for you, right?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
I think we won that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. Or I think so. If I did my homework right, I think you won a cup final against him once there, right? So yeah, he also seems to be a very very strong tactician in terms of his managing style, Master Shea. So yeah. Did he won? He's a Hall of Famer too, right? With Censurados once, I believe. Do you guys know that?
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
so. I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so too. How eager are you, Robert, to go for the Champions League, right, or the Hall of Fame, basically, right? How much do you value that part if you had to sacrifice other things on the game for it?
I think the Champions League is the thing that everyone wants to do, and my main goal is to win that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
which is probably why every time my team gets too old, I go to a stronger one.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Are you already, by the way, since you're up there in the ranking system right now, are you already looking and scouting for other teams to move to already, or do you want to wait until the Northern members really are past their prime?
Yeah, I haven't looked yet. I should do, but I haven't because I think I really like this team, and I'm still got a chance in the league. So I think they're not that weak yet. They're still pretty strong. So I'm going to stick with them for at least this season and see how he starts doing at the end of that season. And if I get too old and I think there's no way I can field a good team even with some youngsters in, then I might have to think about it. But for now, I'm happy, and I'm going to stick with them for at least this season.
Yeah. It might be hard for you to get a new team now as well if there's a really great one, because Holst, he's on the lookout for a new team as well. And he's like, he's got the Hall of Fame bonus. So
I didn't know there was a Hall of Fame bonus.
I think it's like you get 6 extra bars or something.
Wow. Yeah,
so yeah, so you're pretty much
I should get it done, really.
Yeah. So just that you're aware, it might be, even if you manage to get to number 1 again, past Holst, he will most likely get it past you with that bonus.
Yeah. That's another reason. That's another reason I like to stay in all the cups, try and get to number 1 again.
Yeah.
How much do you rate having been number 1? The achievement. Do you count it as high, like as winning a title, or it's just something that happened by setting great tactics? You didn't really care.
Winning the titles is more important, but I do like to get to number 1 if I can. If I'm in the Champions League, it always helps to boost your rating because you're getting that many more games.
Yeah.
But once you get knocked out, there's less likely you'll increase in skill any more higher than that once you're at the Champions League. It's only down to 2 games a weekend. So as I've been knocked out now, I think I'm going to not be able to get to number 1. Although I have noticed that Holst has come down in 1 skill bar, I think, recently. So
yeah, I saw it too.
He may have started on the downwards as well. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure if he's still in the Champions League, but if he's not, then that would explain it. Yeah. But my skill did jump to, I think my skill went up to 20 bars recently, but then it went down again after the last game. Yeah, so I'm down to 19 skill bars.
Yeah.
So I'm on the downwards as well, I think now. So they'll probably be top for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But either way, I mean, no matter how you look at it in terms of skill bars, I mean, 20 bars is for absolutely majority of managers in the official league system, that is just unfathomable, really, right? In terms of how high that is in terms of skill level, I would say. I think absolutely the most managers, I think, would be extremely satisfied to reach like 14, 15 skill, and that would be a real, like, a career achievement for many managers. So
I think
sorry.
Yeah. No, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think mine was around 14, that sort of area, until I first got into the Champions League, and then Because the Champions League with extra games really boosts your manager's skill. So you're unlikely to get anywhere near 20 bars unless you've been in the Champions League. So it's not a bad thing to be on 14 skill if you're not in the Champions League. That's about what you can manage, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I had the same thing when that was like ages ago now, but I've been at 18, and I think 18 is pretty much if you know something about tactics and ranking. I think 18 is pretty much what most people get to, and everything above that is you're getting like to the more unusual numbers. So like 20, 21, 22. That's like much harder. But for me, I didn't go through. I got out of the groups once, and then I got kicked out in the first round in XCL one season, and the other season I got kicked out in the groups. And I managed to get to 18 bars, but I didn't have 2 seasons in a row though. I had one season in the middle of those where I failed to reach XL. But I think 18 bars is pretty much if you're decent enough at the game, you know pretty much decent tactics to that's good for you. I think 18 is pretty standard to reach if you have 2 seasons in XL, I would say.
Yeah,
or 2 seasons. Yeah, that might be true. And hopefully you have some sense of the tactics if you have been 2 times in the Expat Champions League in a row. Hopefully, for your own sake, basically, right? I hope, right? So yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty much automatically that if you don't
Yeah,
get
I
to
know
like
what you're
top 50, you won't when you're in XCL, you pretty much have failed. I mean, the amount of games should just give you 15 bars pretty much automatically if you know what you're doing. That's at least what I would say.
Absolutely. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Speaking of titles and the world #1 ranking and how far you can go and how far you can reach and stuff, what moment do you cherish the most in your sort of career on Expat 11, Robert? What's the moment you felt like you've been proudest of what you've been able to do? And that might be in the friends league as well as in the official system. What's been the biggest high for you on the game, basically?
I think the biggest high was when I was with what was it Blast Legacy, or was it before I renamed it, which was Saturday Night FIFA. When I was with them, I got Manager of the Week and Team of the Month on the same day, which I thought was really good.
Nice.
That's
That
the
must
only
have been
time.
satisfying.
Yeah, that's the only time I've got Team of the Month, and that was on the same day that it came up that I was Manager of the Week as well. That was a good moment for me.
I can understand that.
Yeah, it's pretty understandable. That's a pretty big achievement to get both at once. Also, my goodness gracious, that's
I
nice.
saw one of them and thought, what? And I saw the other one and thought, what? Wow.
Well, that's something, right? That's something. Yeah, for sure. I was also meaning to ask you before. We spoke about the managers that you have the most respect for. Maybe I should ask you too, Daniel. Right? Which guys do you have the most respect for? By the way, I didn't even ask you. I don't think I've asked you that question before. Either way, is there anyone that you feel like you go into a game, like in our league now, for example, or anywhere else, and you feel like, oh my goodness, I really, if I don't do this perfectly, I'm screwed. Basically, like you feel like you respect your opponent that much. Except for me, of course, right?
That's pretty much for everyone. I mean, in our league, that pretty much anyone can beat anyone, I think.
Yeah.
But as you know, I've always been struggling with Kevin. We've had our battles.
Casey and R2. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, but we have like Holst and Mavic and Krille and everyone in the league. I mean, it's hard to say. It's not. They are not good managers to beat. But I think for me, it's on a personal level more. It's like I really want to beat Kevin. That's really satisfying for me. Even though he's not maybe the highest ranked and most achievements to his name. He's got a few, but he's not the most. I think for me, that's pretty much the most satisfying manager to beat, I would say, at the moment at least.
Yeah, fair enough. If I were to turn the question around the opposite way, right? For you, Robert, do you have any? Perhaps I shouldn't say that. Do you have the manager with the least amount of respect for? But who do you want to beat the most, at least? Right. All right. Is there anyone you feel like, oh my God, I really that guy? I can't stand losing against him at the very least, or her, for that sake.
Well, obviously Crilly's the one who's won the most Champions Leagues, but I've never played him. I thought it would be nice to try and pit my wits against him someday.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, he's won so many Champions Leagues that it would be nice to play him someday. But I think management-wise, I think I fancy my chances against anyone. I think I could have a good chance of beating anyone if I had a similar team. But I think if we had similar teams, I'd be fancy my chances in every game. So I kind of rate my management ability in the tactics at least, but not so much in the team building.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, I think it's a kind of a fun point you're making there. Or we've been speaking privately, also me and Daniel and a couple of others, also about being as top ranked as you are, and as Krille are, and as Holstar, of course, basically being in the top 5 conversation at all. It seems like you get just by definition automatically you get more hard matchups because everyone wants to beat you. Do you know what I'm saying? That even if you are a lesser ranked team in your division or in the cup, that could make someone's season to, oh my God, I'm up against Blob. If I can win against him in the third round of cup, yeah, it's for many guys that's an achievement, right? Have you experienced anything like that when you've been on the top as you are right now? That you never have an easy game as such.
I don't think so.
All right.
I think if my team's a stronger team, I think I can always be able to beat them. But if I don't know.
I think people try harder against you just because you're like a famous or known manager. Because I guess if I were to face like a top 5 manager and I had the weak team, I would probably I would put in a couple 100k extra in the win bonus, and I would try just to beat them, not just because it's an achievement in itself to beat like a top manager, and it's fun.
I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to play my old goalkeeper, but I sure as hell will do it for this time. Even though it will fuck up my development value for my youngster, I will still play my old keeper. That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, if they have, then I haven't realised they have because no one really says they're doing that.
Because you're winning, right? You're still winning, right?
Yeah. So. Even if I don't, I think they just had a good game. You can't really tell. You can't see the win bonuses, so I never know if they've tried extra hard to beat me or not. Really.
That's true. That's true. Of course, right. Before we start to wrap things up, because I will get back to my, right in the middle of moving houses as we speak. Not as we speak, right? Because but I'm standing like up to my knees in stuff basically around here at home. So we're moving houses tomorrow. So I have made some promises to my wife and family that I will do this for so long this time. I promise. Then I will get back to actually working again, right? So we have to start to wrap up soon, and you really have to get your lunch as well, right, Robert? I guess, and stuff too. But I was thinking about this site and this podcast recording, and the last year for me, at least personally, on Expert 11, it has been a lot about trying to. Something that I didn't really expect when I got back to Expert 11 was that this really feels like it's a tightly knit community nowadays in a different way than it was before. That the guys who are still left on the site is really dedicated in a way, right? And it's a sort of familiarity feeling to most people who are on the site right now because they've been there for so long. And I guess what I want to ask you is, do you have any friends in real life, or any connections in real life, or anyone you write with that you've actually found on the site or on this gaming site, or any other sort of connections with people who are, except for doing this recording with us, which is also one of example of actually speaking to people from Expert 11, basically.
No, not really. I don't really add people as friends much either. But I think so far on my friends list, we've got one other guy apart from someone I actually know in real life.
Yeah.
So I tend not to add friends so much. If I have a good chat with someone after a game, maybe like I had a good match against them, I thought they're a good manager. I've added a guy like that, but I kind of stopped adding people now. No one's offered me a friendship, so I haven't gone added them either. But if someone was to add me as a friend, I'd be open to it.
Yeah,
But,
sure thing. Make sure to do that after this recording for sure.
Okay.
Fair enough, right? No, but you should pop into the Discord server if we have at the very least from time to time. It's quite enjoyable. Or maybe you're already on it, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Oh, I didn't know there was one. I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, sure. I'll send you the link also, as well as the listeners, right? This is also something I think we are better on in Swedish, right, Daniel? And for you listeners out there who are actually listening to this stuff, right? I sort of tend to forget I know when I speak in English, right? But for you listeners also who have stayed with us for this long, I will also, of course, like we said before, link to the Discord server in the description of the both the video on YouTube and also the article that we're gonna post. And it's probably gonna. I'll make sure of that.
And it's been made into the official. I just made a Discord for one of my private league, Boys in the Hood, for fun, and then we just like, okay, let's try and get other managers in. And now the owners has actually agreed to it to be the official Discord for
a site.
For the site, yeah. So everyone's welcome, and I guess I am the boss in it, but I don't really try to get in the way of people. I mean, just talk shit and do whatever you want. Don't don't be rude or just hate speech. Pretty much. I mean, stuff like that. I like to have a high ceiling, but I mean, you can't go too far either way. So, but otherwise, pretty much everyone's welcome. Have fun. There's a lot of good managers on Discord, and a lot of Swedish lesser known managers, if you wanna call them that, have been asking a lot of questions, and they get answers and help with like team builds and stuff. So it can be really useful if you want the opinions of others, and the forums are really not that great anymore. So it could be a pretty good place to get a second opinion and stuff.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Most definitely. Yeah,
like
for sure. So if you need any advice going into the next Expansion Champions League, like Robert, you will have only get to good Discord and ask me, and Daniel, we give you all our opinions on what to do and not to do, right? So, yeah, for sure. No, but seriously though, like I said, Daniel, it's actually great. It's great fun, really, to be able to, especially if you like me, work the graveyard shift and you have to kill a couple of hours during nighttime. It's great fun to be able to actually log on to Discord and speak for a couple of hours with other managers as well, right? So it's great fun for sure, and hopefully something that we will be able to build on too going forward.
Yeah, it would be really fun to build on the English side as well, or pretty much all other languages. But it's mostly now it's Swedish. Not by design, it just happened that way because it's easy to spread in Sweden as we speak Swedish and we are in Swedish leagues and blah blah blah. But everyone's welcome, and more managers, the more managers, the more fun.
Yeah, perhaps this is where we should urge Tony, Brazil, and A. Pearson, the guys on that part, to just spread the word for God's sake. You know, we're tell each and everyone that we exist on Discord as well, right? So, wrapping this thing up, like I wanted to ask you also, Robert, before we leave. Are you a Game of Thrones fan? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Shit, those questions. Yeah, that's what it is. No, but if you were to give yourself an advice, you know, going back to when you started out playing the game, what would you tell yourself? You know, I shouldn't have done this, or this. You should really do this different, Robert, because this will take you years of your life basically trying to get this right, and now I know that this is not the way to do it, right? Would you have any advice for yourself now when you look back upon your career, right?
Yeah, I think I would say don't stick to the same information all the time for so long as you did,
Yeah.
because I used to 4-5-1 did do well for me for a long time, but eventually it wasn't always win every game. And then the number of games, the few games I did lose with 4-5-1, I wouldn't win the title,
Yeah.
and that would kind of ruin it basically.
Yeah.
Like 4-5-1 did win most of the games, but I knew some games I knew it wouldn't win because like I couldn't do long range shots or something like that. If I thought I needed long range shots, like someone always has tight in the center, I should really change it to a different formation.
Yeah.
So I'd say don't stick to the same information, change it up.
That's a
Absolutely.
good advice.
Yeah, definitely. I think that could go for a lot of people actually to try to be more, still play this to the strengths of your team, but try to be, like you say, more, don't limiting yourself just by being stuck inside your own head, basically, right?
Yeah.
Doing the same routine over and over. That's actually a really good advice, for sure.
Funny thing is, we had this discussion, I think yesterday, you and me, or was it 2 days ago? And I said I'm pretty much stuck with the 4-5-1.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No slight on you, Daniel, but that's a good advice for you too, right? Don't stay with 4-5-1 just for the sake of it, right? Yeah, that's true.
I probably
That's
would have
true.
won against you if I switched. So
Yeah, that's
I,
right.
I can't take it away from Bob here. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, last question, right? If there was anything that you could change, right, Robert, on the site that today that you feel like this is missing, what would you like to add on to the site or take away from the site, or is there anything that you really think would heighten your experience of the game, if you could add something of your own?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think there is, with the substitutions, I think there's a bit limited of when you can make substitutions. I think, like it says, like if you want to put this player on, if you're winning by more than 2 goals, I think there should be one where you can put it. You should put the player on if you're not winning by more than 2 goals. But if you are winning by more than 2 goals, then you don't put them on, sort of thing. Or a bit more freedom with not just if you win by 2 goals or what more than 1 goal.
More choices pretty much in the substitution.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes I don't want to put someone on if I'm winning by 2 goals, but if I'm not winning, I won't want to put someone on by more than 2 goals. It says if you're losing, say you're having a cup game and you've got youngsters on, and you think if you're only 1-0 up, maybe you want to put the better player on. To make sure you win. Or if you're not, if you don't want to put the youngster on if you're not up by 2 goals, sort of thing. More freedom.
That's actually kind of, I've thought about it the opposite way, like, oh, it's a shame that I can't do this in certain games, right? But I never really thought of it that, oh, we should maybe change this up. That's a good actually good advice for sure. That's a good one. Yeah. Do you have anything, Daniel, that you want to add at the end of the show, at the end of the recording, before I, like I said, leave for my family and pick up my dad's pickup truck now and try to load some stuff, right?
Yeah, no, not really. Just want to say thanks to Robert here for joining us. It's been fun. Hopefully we can do more English speaking, and maybe you can join us again sometime.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Thank you so much for being a good sport and joining us for the recording. It's great. It's been great having you, for sure. It's been a good, great experience for us.
And I hope
Definitely.
you've understood us good enough in our broken English.
You speak good English.
Oh, that's good. Thanks. Well, at least we didn't take it in Swedish. That's something, right? So yeah. Oh, that's great. Once again, thank you so much for joining. And I guess I should do the whole YouTuber podcast thing also and say to everyone who's listening in English now, please click like and subscribe if you find this where you find it, because we are on we actually are on Spotify and we're on Google Podcast and we are on YouTube as well. So Acast as well, I think, is no, Anchor. Anchor is the one, and a couple of other locations. So where you find us, please click like and subscribe. So and if you have any suggestions also for future guests, for future subjects, for our English specials, as well as for Swedish specials for the Swedish listeners, just feel free to comment in the clip or send us a direct message or wherever. Right. So thanks for listening. Thank you both of you for being with me today. Right. Also. So yeah. Thanks.